Hey fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net.
In the construction zone.
In the construction zone. We hope you are a Patreon patron. If you are, thank you so much for your patronage. If not, please try to remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. Amazon will pay us a couple bucks a month for that, and you have to re-up your subscription each month. But please, the instructions are in the description of the show. Our first question from YouTube from A. That's actually a name. A on Yisler.
I don't know how he got it.
That's great. Do you think the current generation of consoles has connected us more or less as people? I remember during the PS2, Xbox, GameCube era, playing games at friends' home. We would all come together. Nowadays, with everybody online, it seems to be a more isolated experience. Which era is better and why? Honestly, I got to tell you, I'm probably not competent to answer that question, but that's a sociological question, and I'm absolutely not a sociologist. I think that in prior generations, and I'd say each succeeding generation, we've gotten more connected. But in prior generations, so let's go back to PS1 or NES or SNES, the games are single-player games. And if you played multiplayer, it was side-by-side. Multiple controllers. I remember playing Army Men, of all things, from 3DO, and you could play two players on the screen at once. But it was largely a single-player campaign. You were trying to get through it. And then we got multiplayer games with Halo and Call of Duty, and that kind of was PS2 era Xbox, regular original Xbox. And it transcended into, massively multiplayer with World of Warcraft, and then kind of went into the kind of Call of Duty squad-based multiplayer. So the question is playing by yourself for 10 hours and not having any interaction with other people better or worse than playing multiplayer and having live chat and talking to other people? I personally think single player is a better experience because you escape. To me, it's just like reading a book. Like you're watching a movie, you're reading a book, you're taking in the entertainment. I get that you're interacting with it, but it's an isolating but satisfying, solitude. I mean, it's just a way to be alone and chillax, as they say. And I actually find multiplayer to be intensely social, as in you're actually worried about what other people think. So Fortnite, you're worried if you don't have a skin, like people think you're just a loser. You pressure people. I'm playing a free-to-play competitive game now, and I'm a master manipulator. I'm great at it, and I know how to get people to try. So I am constantly posting when we lose a battle, war, that, boy, this really happened last week. We lost by 117 points, and we left more lives on the table than the opponents. And I pointed out we left like 10 lives on the table. Our average life used generated like 20 points. We would have won by 80 if everybody just used their lives. I didn't call out the guys who didn't, but every time I do that, the guys who didn't use their lives remember to use them the next time. So peer pressure. And the point is, who's playing this game to get called out by me? Nobody, right? So to me, that's actually harder. And when I'm playing this game, we have a war tomorrow morning. I have to show up because I'm the leader and I got to be there. And I have found myself, like I was in Vegas last weekend, I found myself telling them I really did have to go, but I told my buddies I got to go take a dump. And I really did have to go. And I went in the bathroom and sat on the pot and I fought the war because I had to. So the point is, is it better or worse to be connected that way? I mean, there's a certain amount of camaraderie that comes out of playing these multiplayer games. And, I have friends that I played multiplayer games with. So I think that they're connecting more people, not fewer. I think we are more connected, but in a more anonymous way. And so the reason I'm answering it that way is you said as people. We're more connected, just not as people. We're anonymous. Like we aren't who people think we are. I'm Trash Compactor on Xbox Live. So I'm more connected, and I guess you could figure out that was me. But no, I think that games keep people from getting out and interacting socially. I think games become people's social interaction. For people who are nerds who have no friends, it's much, much better. For people who are very social and have plenty of friends, it's much, much worse. On balance, we're more connected because of the ability to play games, but it's not a substitute for true human interaction, I don't think. Our next question from SIFTD from Mitch. Mitch, Sony recently released new PS5 specs for the second time in 6 months. In the past, platform holders would do one large event to unveil their new consoles in full. Why do you think the strategy has changed? If the final PS5 looks like the images of the dev kit, would you buy it? Does form factor matter that much? Honestly, I can't even remember what my PS4 looks like. I have it in a cabinet. I never look at it. I mean, I guess I do if I use a physical game disc, but I don't even remember what it looks like. I don't care what it looks like. I don't actually care what its performance specs are either, to be honest with you. This is beyond my ability to comprehend. It's like when I turn the left knob on the faucet, hot water comes out. I don't know how it got there, nor do I care. When I turn on my PS5, I expect a beautiful game to show up on my television monitor, and it will. So I don't know. I mean, this is all about enjoying interactive entertainment, and I think that people will buy the console if they want to get the very best experience in interactive entertainment, and if they're satisfied with a lesser experience, they'll stream the game through Google Stadia or something else. And if they're satisfied with an even lesser experience, they'll buy an old PS4. I mean, we have different ways to play. You can watch a movie on a small TV or on your phone, or you can go to a theater. And the people who watch on their phone obviously don't care as much as the people who want to see it on the big screen. So same with consoles. If you want to enjoy just the content itself and you don't care what it looks like, you can play games without the latest and greatest console. I think Sony is counting on the 10% of people who play games that will buy an expensive console to play the games in the best way that you can play them, and Microsoft the same. And I think that there always will be 10% of the population who's willing to spend extra money to have a really great experience. And form factor, look, Sony is a really good consumer electronics company. They're going to get form factor right. So I don't know what the final thing will look like. Don't care.
You don't think it'll look like that V-shaped fan?
It'll be beautiful. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not the right guy to ask. I don't care. It'll be beautiful. So I'm really the wrong guy. I'm so uncreative that way. I don't know. Our next question, great name, from Patreon from Captain Falkpone. Some gaming companies are involved in other businesses. That's a very funny comment. No, it's companies that aren't gaming companies are involved also in gaming. It's very funny how you said that. Microsoft has Windows, Google has big data, Sony has consumer electronics. Google is the big data company who's getting into games, and Sony is a consumer electronics company who got into games. What impact does the success and failure of the gaming business have on the rest of their business, vice versa? For Microsoft, I would say that it was an afterthought. It was a Bill Gates passion, and they really didn't succeed in the Xbox original era, and they did pretty well with the Xbox 360, and then they got serious. Now, the Xbox One hasn't been as successful as the 360, but I think that they're much bigger as a company because they built this amazing recurring revenue stream from online multiplayer from Xbox Live Gold. And they're building this Xbox Anywhere and Game Pass business. I think it's integral to what Microsoft's all about. And I think it's kind of proving out the cloud is a big deal, and that's important to Microsoft. For Google, I'm not sure what the hell they're doing. They're just a lame company. Sorry, I don't understand anything about Google. Anything that's not search, to me, they're dabbling, and they'll figure it out eventually. Maps and search, I should say. But anything that's not perfectly related to Google Maps and GPS location and search, I think they're just futzing around. And so we'll see if they succeed. Amazon's going to get in that business too, and so we'll see who's the bigger company. Sony, it's huge. It's routinely 25% or more of their profits. So games is a big deal to Sony. They take it deadly seriously. They have a lot of divisions that don't perform. Consumer electronics has been a terrible business to them for years. and film business is a terrible business, so they care very much about games. And honestly, I think Microsoft and Sony are looking to life after a console, so we're going to have another generation, of course. But I think that with PlayStation Now and Game Pass, I think they're looking for how do we deliver games when people roll off of consoles, and I think that's going to be fascinating to see how they participate. If you're a Patreon patron, thank you for that. If you are not, please link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and if you can't do that, or even if you can do that, follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. See you next week.